Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy technology principles applications. This video is about the new resonant frequencies or the new frequency spectrum that we are going to be entering into. So this is highly unconventional information, and this is actually kind of way out there. So what's going to happen, I got to try to explain this. So if you think about our existence and like kind of like the dimension that we're in right now and what that's based on, like the foundation of that dimension, we are very accustomed to a certain frequency like spectrum that we're used to. So what happens is when you change the magnetic resonance of like your dimension, so we're not like I don't know if you would necessarily say we're going up in dimensions, but the dimension that we're in is going to be modified, and our experience of it will be modified. So what we're going to experience coming up with these shifts is new like frequency ranges, new frequency, really it's a whole frequency spectrum that we don't have on this planet right now, that we aren't used to. Now, there are scientists in top secret labs that have experienced this because of technology, because of magnetic technology and changing their environment. And I can vouch for this, the frequency that we're going to be moving into, because I've experienced it myself. And so the color spectrum, for example, is different than anything that we have right now. It's a completely new experience, and it's across the board. So it will affect our brainwaves, it will affect our DNA, it will affect our eyes and how we see things and hear things. And it's a whole different experience of living. And the old like basically the old light spectrum and the old EMF spectrum and stuff that we're used to will be a thing of the past. And it even has to do with our technology. So we will see the workings of like electromagnetic technology differently. Now, the new age, kind of the new age metaphysical experience that some very like highly gifted people have is going to be something that all of us experience, but in a whole different way. So sometimes people will have this experience where they can like read auras and stuff, and they will see the effects of auras on plants and animals and all of these things. So what's going to happen is we're going to be in this new, I guess you could call it an EMF spectrum, that will allow us to see the effects of like electricity on plant life and animal life and human life and everything. And so we will see how it drains people's energy. We will see how it negatively interacts with our auras, if you want to call it that. And and now this is really bizarre too, but if you've heard this before, I don't know, it depends on how crazy you are, how into alien stuff you are, but a lot of times visitors to this world will wear shielding, they'll wear eye protection, because the spectrum that they come from is similar to what we're going to be going into. And so for them to experience our current light spectrum the way we experience it is hard on them. It's hard on their eyes, it's hard on their ocular everything. So that's partly why they wear protection. And so this is a whole different understanding of kind of like what the nature is of our universe and what the foundation of the energy is that we exist in. Because when we change this frequency spectrum, it literally impacts everything. So it's a different version of gravity, of the electromagnetic fields, of light, of sound, of heat, and everything. And so we will experience nature differently. We will see things that we normally don't see now. There will be it's a different set of colors and everything that we're not really used to. So it's it's a pretty powerful thing. It allows us to see easier for interdimensional things. The energy exchange from person to person and animal to person and plant to person and all that. We will see the energy exchange much easier between people and other life forms and everything. And then it'll be easier for us to move into the different paranormal things, such as like out of body stuff and levitation, because the spectrum allows for a different, like basically a different cognitive process that we're not used to. So it impacts everything from the quantum level on up to the macro level. So all parts of our existence are impacted by this. And it's a very kind of a dynamic transformation that we'll be going through. And so as we move into this new spectrum, it'll allow us to have more interdimensional communication, interstellar communication. It'll pave the way for new technology, because the magnetic technology, we will see how tremendously beneficial it is to the environment and to plant and animal life and to us and everything, and how it expands our energy fields, how it raises our consciousness, level of consciousness, if you want to call it that, or level of interdimensional awareness, or the ascension level. All of those things are intimately connected to the magnetic resonance spectrum that we're part of. So when we raise the magnetic resonance, when that's raised around the whole solar system, it really changes the foundation of our existence. It's almost like entering into a new level of the video game, or a new level in the Matrix or something, if you want to do like those types of analogies. And it'll be very interesting. The colors that you see, I can't even really describe them, because they're not what we're used to. We're used to like the greens and yellows, purples, blues, blah blah blah, all our normal light stuff, and they're different. They're different colors than those, and so it's very difficult to describe them. You have to kind of experience them, and then it kind of blows your mind. Exactly, like how is that even possible? Because we're taught that you can't change things like that, but at every different level, it opens up a whole new set of frequency spectrums. And so we'll be going through that and experiencing that in these transitions. So please send any questions and comments that you have, but I thought it would be just a nice thing to get that out there and let people know one of the things that's coming, and it's actually really cool. And I'll see you again.